Welcome back to The Haunted Beard, everybody. My name is Jake. Thank you once again for joining me. So I just recently found out about this found footage film called Invoking Yell. And this is a Chilean movie that actually premiered at some film festivals last year. And after looking at the synopsis and kind of seeing some of the early buzz, it piqued my curiosity. And this tells the story of these three younger girls who go into the woods to record a demo tape for their black metal band, Invoking Yell. And once they are out there and start recording some audio for their tape, some sinister things start happening. And so that kind of piqued my curiosity. Seeing some of the early buzz, I saw it had an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't really put much stock in Rotten Tomatoes, but still I was kind of like, okay. And then one of the websites I frequently visit for horror news, bloodydisgusting.com, had a review for it. They gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So I was like, okay, maybe this thing might be pretty good. It's found footage. I'm a pretty big fan of found footage. So this movie definitely had my interest. Decided to give it a watch. And man, this is the worst film I have seen so far this year, unfortunately. And look, when I'm talking about movies and giving my thoughts, I try to take into consideration, the budget and stuff like that. This is a film that I just learned was actually filmed over a weekend. It's a low budget, found footage, certainly, indie type movie and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to factor in that and not be too negative or critical towards it. But man, I just really did not have a good time watching this thing. The only positive thing I could mention about Invoking Yell is just the visuals, as this is a movie that is set in 1997. And just based on the presentation and the look of the film alone, it looks like it was recorded on some old, VHS camcorder. You got, the nice kind of fuzzy graininess, and some of the color grading is kind of off here and there and stuff like that. So it really looks like it was shot on a real kind of authentic VHS camcorder sort of thing from the 90s. And so I'll give it a little bit of credit for that. But other than that, I could not find a single redeeming quality about this movie at all. And the biggest offense for me is the pacing. And this movie is only 84 minutes long. Let me tell you, the first hour of this film, nothing happens. And that's not an exaggeration. I mean, like literally nothing happens. You are following these three girls in the woods, and they're just walking around talking about just whatever. I cannot explain to you enough how uneventful and dull the first hour of this film is. I'm serious when I say literally nothing happens. Nothing important, nothing interesting, nothing that has anything to do with a plot or a story. Nothing happens in the first 60 minutes of this thing. No kidding, it was the 60-minute mark, and I wrote in my phone, taking notes, "For the love of God, please something happen." The other main issue I had with this is the characters, and there's only 3 characters. 2 of the girls are basically just nothing. You don't really get anything from them. They're not necessarily unlikable, they're just whatever. But the one character, her name is Andrea, I believe, she's such an unlikable character. She's this person who... she's just a jerk. She's really mean and rude to one of the girls for whatever reason. She thinks she's better than everyone else. She thinks like they have the greatest band the world has ever seen. She's so egotistical and pretentious, and it's just extremely irritating to watch and listen to. And listening to her talking about their music is just eye-rolling. It's so ridiculous. And she's talking about, she's like, yeah, we don't have any influences. Nobody sounds like we do. We make music. We record the sounds of suffering and agony and stuff. And it's just like, oh, brother, come on. It's just so ridiculous. It's cringeworthy and pretentious and just stupid. And then finally, at the hour mark, something of note actually happens. And I won't say what it is, but the way they execute it is, it's just very dull and lame and ineffective. The horror in this is almost non-existent. The fact that they're, out in the woods at night and it's dark and they're talking about spirits and they eventually, paint their faces white with like the black stuff around their eyes and stuff. And then they kind of do this little ritual, and it's not scary. There's no good tension. There's no good atmosphere. There's no good suspense. There's no creepiness. There's no disturbing quality. There's no, dark, brooding atmosphere. I think a movie using black metal as, kind of a driving force of the story, I figured we were going to get something pretty gnarly and dark, but we don't. Anyways, there's not a whole lot more to say about this. I did not enjoy it really at all. And, I know that movies are subjective. Everybody can have their opinion and all that stuff, and everybody likes different stuff, and that's great. This is a movie, though, and I'm like, if you like it and you watch it, that's awesome. But man, I don't know what people could find in this that they would like. It's so uneventful. It's so slow. There's just like nothing here worth talking about or that's memorable whatsoever. Unfortunately, I paid $5 to watch this on demand. And, you're not always going to win them all. Sometimes you watch a movie and you didn't really like it, but I can't really think of the last time that I felt ripped off over $5 and was like, I want my money back. But I want my money back and I feel ripped off. So, yeah, man, I could not believe how uneventfully dull this movie was, unfortunately. But I'm just being honest. That's just what I really felt and thought about it. So I'm going to give this, I'm going to give it a 2, but I feel like that is being generous. But I'll give it a 2 out of 10 for Invoking Yell. So anyways, those are my thoughts. If by chance you watch this, I would be very curious to hearing your thoughts about it. I don't know what people would find in this that they really liked or enjoyed about it. But if you did, I would certainly be interested in hearing about it. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this video, go ahead and do me a favor and do not click that subscribe button unless you want to be haunted by the beard.